to S1Live, Sheffield's #1 student radio show.
Good afternoon and welcome to S1Live. It's the 12th of the 12th of the 12th today, and coming up on the show, we'll be hearing about the end of the world in 9 days' time with Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Samashu. You may remember me from such broadcasts such as Bramall Lane Live and Hallam Lacrosse. Today I'm filling in for our beloved Will, who can't be here today. The show's out for you, man. So, coming up on today's show, we'll be finding out about blind people in sport. We've got two very special guests.
Yep, we're also talking about the phrase sexting on today's show. Is it just harmless fun for young people, or is it an issue that needs to be addressed? Tell us what you think by tweeting us at S1Live, but first here's Jen with the news.
News. An application to quash the original Hillsborough inquest verdicts has been confirmed to be heard at the High Court next Wednesday. Families of the victims have campaigned for years to have the original 1991 accidental death verdicts overturned. The Attorney General, Dominic Grieve, said the move was based on new medical evidence made public in the Hillsborough Independent Panel report in September. He said the alteration of evidence by the police and other emergency services was also a supporting factor, along with stadium safety. Lancaster University has paid tribute to murdered student Anuj Bidvi on what would have been his graduation day. The 23-year-old, who was studying for a master's degree, was shot dead as he walked to the Manchester Sales with friends on Boxing Day last year. His killer, Kieran Stapleton, was jailed for life. The Australian radio hosts at the centre of the Royal Hospital Hoax said they were gutted and heartbroken over the death of nurse Jacintha Salander. Mrs. Salander, who was found dead on Friday, 3 days after taking the hoax call.
That anyone could have expected what was going to happen after all. So I mean, it was completely innocent, and we just assumed that we'd be cut off at every single point, and that'd be it.
I'm Jenny Aitken, and that's all from the news.
Hi, I'm Jade, and you're listening to S1Live. So obviously, a really tragic story hearing about the suicide of Mr. Jacintha Salander. What do you guys think about this situation?
We did a bit on this last week, didn't we? And originally we thought it was brilliant, it was hilarious. But obviously now this has happened, everyone's taken a bit of a hypocritical turn, I think. If a hoax call or a prank is meant to give laughter, and not meant to create such a furore as it has done, but the fact it's a hospital as well, I think just sort of exasperates it a little bit.
Can I put it out there that I actually feel, as much as I do feel sympathy with the woman that killed herself, I feel a lot of sympathy for the two producers, because essentially their career, their life almost has taken a tragic turn, and it's almost, I feel for them, it's almost over for them as well. So,
yeah.
There are two sides to this story. Hoaxes happen all the time. If they thought that this was going to get anywhere near to what actually happened, I know for a fact that they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's obviously got some underlying issues if she's going to be killing herself after a hoax call thing where she's putting it through. I mean, she had 2 young children. I mean, I'd like to think that it wasn't purely because of these radio presenters that this has happened. I think it's
the radio presenters, and we've all seen the interview, I think, particularly, I can't remember her name, but she did break down in tears, and you do feel sorry for her, you do feel sorry for them. They never in their wildest dreams thought that such a prank call would ever come to that. But who do you blame? Do you blame the show? Do you blame the DJs? Do you blame producers?
Well, let's put it out there to our listeners. Get involved on the Twitter. We want to know who do you blame and who do you feel most sympathy for. Get in touch, guys, at S1Live.
Hi, I'm Will. Follow us on Twitter at S1Live.
Now, 2012 has been a fantastic year for British sport, with moments like this dominating the headlines.
Jessica Ennis is the Olympic champion. It's a perfect day.
Couldn't this be the greatest night in British athletics history?
Yep, that's Sheffield's very own Jessica Ennis, who was one of the 29 gold medalists at this summer's Olympic Games. Jess, who's based at the Don Valley Stadium here in Sheffield, has gained celebrity status since her heroics in London. Heroics? Which has been marked by the golden post box outside the City Hall, which I hope you've all seen, had your picture taken with, and a stand at Sheffield United's Bramall Lane Stadium, which has been named after her. Now, prior to all this success at the Olympics, which of course we're more than happy to boast about to our rivals, there was a journey that started at Land's End on the 19th of May, which was the Olympic Torch Rally. 8,000 people were selected after being nominated by family, friends or colleagues, and one of those people who successfully was recommended was Julie Smethurst. Now, Julie was chosen after being put forward for her inspirational work, which galvanises the team and champions inclusivity, according to her bio on the website. She always acknowledges and praises the achievements of others. It was a story that was made even more remarkable as Julie has been totally blind since she was 2 years of age. After reading her story, I wanted to meet this incredible lady, so I went to see her at the Mappin Centre, which is the Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind's main base, where she's been a trustee for over 20 years. And she explained to me that being blind doesn't stop her.
I think we were fortunate because we were around at a time when there were still schools which were for just blind and partially sighted children, but we got away from that very kind of institutional, unpleasant kind of thing that was going on. And so my school here in Sheffield, which I went to in 1961, was lovely because we were very free and we were very much encouraged to be independent and to go sledging and use roller skates and bikes and play rounders and cricket and kick footballs around and run around and knock each other over from time to time and occasionally bash into a wall or fall down into a sand pit.
So as you can hear there, Julie doesn't have any problem with getting stuck in despite her impairment. And she mentioned there about schooling how lucky she was. She believes that visually impaired children, aren't as fortunate as she was because she was in a school with people who had similar symptoms.
I think that was very helpful from our point of view because in two ways. First of all, none of us got this idea that we were special. You know, we were just like everybody else, and we bullied each other, I suppose, sometimes, but also we helped each other, you know, and certainly by the time we got to secondary school, the partially sighted ones would be the ones who would read our letters to those of us who couldn't read them, and that, you know, there were ways in which we were just all the same, whereas talking to children now who go through mainstream, very often they're the only blind child in their school, certainly in their class. Very often they're being kind of guarded all day by a learning assistant.
Now, despite Julie's frustrations in regard to education for blind children, she has nothing but praise for the building that offers many opportunities for impaired people, something she says has been on the cards since she joined the charity 2 decades ago.
There's been an interesting 20-odd years. I've seen massive changes here, not least the lovely new building that we're sitting in now, which we were talking about way back in the early 1990s, but it actually took another 15 years or so for us to get to the point where we could have it. But I have seen a lot of changes. I've seen a change from, again, quite a dependency kind of culture, bizarrely, here, where people were sort of were brought in to have their sociable time and their cup of tea and their lunch and whatever, to a place now where we offer services which people can opt into if they want to. So if people want to come in and have a cup of tea and have lunch and have a chat and do some games or whatever it might be in the activity centre, that's great, that's there. But there's also the choice of computer courses and using the library, crafts, living skills, use of the equipment centre here. There's just lots of opportunities to choose from that weren't available 20 years ago, and it's brilliant. I really think the society is doing what it should be doing in offering choice as possible to blind people in Sheffield, really.
It really is a fantastic building. I was fortunate enough to be given a tour there by the wonderful staff there. It's a great place for people to go and socialise, get involved in host of activities. I can't talk today. Host of activities that Julie talked about and enjoy life. Moving on to what Julie got to in the summer in regards to taking part in the Torch Rally. She was obviously thrilled to be nominated, and I know that it came as a massive shock to her. But I really cannot talk today, can I? But unsurprisingly modest, she wanted to revel in the experience by sharing it with the choir who she chairs and the SRSB.
It gave a little bit of time to the organisations that I've been involved in, the chorus and people who I've been around to do with access and this place, the Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind, and I just felt that, you know, we all revelled in that moment, and the bodies that I represented by being there. So it was just a really exciting day, and some of the chorus sang to me as I was going down there, and my nominator, Kate, she was my guide, so that was really lovely. She shared in the experience, and it was just a terrific, never to be forgotten, never to be repeated experience, I think, really.
Now, Julie has been sharing her experience by visiting people and taking the torch with her to many different places, including the SRSB's Activities Centre, where she had pictures taken with clients, staff and volunteers. In regards to the spectacle itself of the Paralympics, which she took great interest in, she said the coverage was excellent and believes Paralympians are belatedly getting the recognition they deserve for their success.
I think it got very good coverage, and I was very impressed with the coverage that it got. I'm very impressed with the profile of Paralympians, really. I mean, it's great. In the 12 in the shortlist for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. I noticed there were 3 Paralympians. And I think at one time that would just not have happened, it wouldn't. So I think that Channel 4 and Radio 5 Live, between them, they did really well, actually. The coverage was excellent, I thought.
She is one amazing woman, and I felt privileged to listen to her story yesterday and hear what she had to say. I also want to give a big thank you to the staff at the SRSB who really looked after me. And I was only meant to be there for 15 minutes for an interview, but I was there a good hour and a half, I think, chatting to all the volunteers. And what really struck me is there was a massive spirit between them, so thank you much for that. We could have dedicated a show to her, to be honest, because she really did have a lot to say. Now, goalball was in the Paralympics this year, and whilst Great Britain didn't win a medal, it is a sport that's increasing in popularity. Joining me live now is Kyle and Kurt, who are brothers who play for the South Yorkshire Goalball Club. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Kyle, if I may start with you, could you give me a bit more background about goalball?
Okay, well, I can't remember exactly what year it started, but was it someone who came back from Second World War?
Yeah, I think it was.
And he'd had an accident and lost all his sight, and he wanted some way he could still be physically active and that anyone could play, not just himself but his friends as well, fully sighted or with eyesight problems. And so he came up with this sport called goalball. And it really is an all-inclusive sport.
You play for South Yorkshire, is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Is it a league format? Is it a tournament?
Well, at the moment we've just started a Yorkshire tournament. Getting that the wrong way around. A Yorkshire League, but we do have 3 national tournaments a year.
Kirk, if I can come to you, do any of the big football clubs, your Sheffield Wednesdays, your Sheffield United, do they take any sort of interest in goalball?
I'm not sure about the Sheffield teams, but I know we did some training down in Derby, I think it was, and that was quite interesting. We got quite a bit of publicity from them, I think. But I think we are trying to push towards like the Sheffield teams and things.
Now, during the Paralympics, how did Great Britain do? Did we win any? Actually, no, we didn't win any medal, did we? No, I've already told you that.
No, the women's team got to the quarterfinals and they were 1 goal out from getting a bronze, which is quite annoying. But they got a bronze in the Euros. But the men have some pretty stiff competition, so they didn't do too good.
Now, both of you played. Do you think you'll manage to get into the Great Britain team? I know you've had experience. I know you've had a training session, haven't you, Kyle?
Yeah, not at the moment. With visually impaired sports, there's different categories of eyesight problems, and at the moment we are just outside of what we can qualify for international competition. So we can play nationally, but never internationally at the moment.
Now, if anyone's listening and they want to get involved, how do they do that?
We've got a Facebook page, which is South Yorkshire Goalball Club, and we should get a Twitter, really. Everyone uses that, don't they? So.
Yeah, Twitter's a very useful tool.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the message out there, and we'll try and get a few more recruits to you. Are you looking for players at the moment?
Yeah, we're always looking for players and helpers and things. So, yeah.
And the big question, who's the better out of the two of you?
Well, I'm not going to answer that. Don't want to be biased.
Come on. Stick your neck out.
I've got more goals this season than he has.
But
last season he got more. So.
Strikers always take all the credit, though, don't they? I think the defending at the back is more important, don't you?
Yeah, it's the slow shots, you see. It just sneaks by.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
You just rush too much.
Well, in 4 years' time, perhaps we'll be seeing you a Great Britain jersey. Guys, thank you very much for coming in. The time is 3:16. Yes, it's 3:16. You're listening to S1 Live.
Hey, this is Tom, and you're listening to S1 Live.
Whoa! Excuse me, that is the sound of me falling into my chair as we swap places.
Are you in place?
Right, so moving on. Tom, that was absolutely brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And yeah, really, really good. So you've heard about the sexting epidemic sweeping the nation at the moment. It's all over the news. And experts are warning that explicit photos are corrupting teenagers and that the sexualised practice has become, well, in the words of someone in the papers today, mundane and mainstream. So, do we really think it is an issue that maybe sex education needs to address? Well, guys, is it just harmless fun? What do you reckon? And I will put this out there to our tweeters as well. Please get in touch, and I'll be reading them out straight away. Seriously, guys, get in touch.
Right, I'm going to make a confession now.
Have you been sending naughty pictures?
No,
Carl?
I've never done it before, and the reason for that is because my relationships don't tend to last very long, for one reason or another. I always feel it's a way that they could possibly get back at me, so I don't tend to go down that route.
Oh, see, I have the other side. Not that I do it. I can safely say I've never done it before. I think because I'm scared that if I end up doing well in a career and stuff, if that ever ended up coming back out or anything,
That's a very good point.
Don't know how you'd ever cope with that. Or say Facebook, that's going to be around now until we're older and have children and stuff. Can you imagine if some way that ended up getting back on your Facebook and your children end up seeing?
Well, actually, there was a news report yesterday out that someone had set up her own photography license, if you like. She was just putting photos on Facebook and Twitter, and that somehow come out on an American porn site. That's just through Google Images and Google Search and that sort of thing.
There was that girl, wasn't there, over in Canada, who actually committed suicide after her photos went viral.
Yeah, and this is the problem with sexting. I mean, myself, I will admit to back in the day, back in the year 8, year 9 era.
Year 9?
Or maybe a bit older. Sorry. I was not a prolific sexter, but I was partial to the odd photo.
I think this is the problem, though. I think this is the problem. It's not like people our age just doing it. I remember when I was younger and the webcam phenomena came about, and everyone, there was so many times that people asked me to show my bits on the webcam. Yeah,
that's a great.
When I was only young. Yeah,
it's a great point, and the reason why I think that Jade has come up with that is because there aren't places for the younger people to together as a couple, maybe relieve themselves together and enjoy.
Goodness me! Please bring Will back. Please bring Will back.
No, this is a valid point that has gone wrong here, guys. Take it on board that the 14-year-old, where I know I'm not exactly condoning it, but where are these couples going to go and, have sex?
I just think there's so much sex out there all the time at the moment. It's like. I remember when I was younger, literally all you ever hear about is how amazing sex is going to be when you finally do it and this and that and everything. And I think that 14, 15-year-olds are pressurised by older people.
Well, it's not just that, is it? It's everything on TV. I mean, there was The Joy of Teen Sex. There's all these programmes on TV that kind of explicitly
it keeps going
show
on about
teenagers
how good it is.
Yeah, basically. But at the same time, I was just thinking then, sexting, for me, it isn't pictures. It can also be a cheeky little text that's, a bit... Yeah, exactly.
I think that's all right, though. I don't think you're putting yourself out there too much. I think when you're doing texting, just texting, I think that's trying just to entice.
It's like 50 Shades across the airwaves, I always think. That's my view of sexting anyway.
Now, Emmy Glover's tweeted in, and she has said she reckons that it's worse when we all used MSN. So, Emmy, I'd like to know exactly why it is worse when we used MSN, and what did you get up to?
Webcam. Right, well, anyway, I think we could talk about that all day, guys.
We could indeed.
You're listening to S1 Live.
Hey, this is Tom, and you're listening to S1 Live.
Victims adhere to the Mayan calendar, which predicts the end of time to occur on the 21st of December of 2012.
You won't believe this, but I thought we'd have more time. The world, as we know it, will soon come to an end.
Well, that was the harrowing sound of the 2012 movie trailer. That's right, the end of the world is only 9 days away. Or is it? Our reporter Vanessa has been out to investigate.
According to Aztec Mayan belief, they believe the world went through 5 ages and that we, in 2012, are living in 5th and final age. The Mayan calendar has predicted that the world will end on the 21st December 2012. I went out on the streets of Sheffield to see what people think.
It might just end as we know it.
So something major.
Yeah. Like something like a massive overturn, a massive change.
Because there's no science backing it up. It's a myth. And this isn't just the only calendar. There's loads of these calendars that have come about, and they've never turned out true. And there's no science. It's just speculation.
Speculation, okay.
And NASA says it won't happen, so therefore I believe NASA. So if NASA say it won't happen, I'm 99.999% sure it won't happen.
I went to a lecture about the end of the world at Warwick University by astrophysicist Boris Gainsky. he told me that he wanted to reassure people that we're not going to disappear just yet.
Well, I know that lots of people are interested in astronomy in general, and then this year there's this specific problem of the Mayan calendar which comes to an end, and lots of people may be worried about the end of the world. And so I just wanted to give some kind of scientific talk on what we know what will happen, because we know that the end of the calendar will not end the world, but something will lead to an end of the world. The end of the world will be if the sun ends its life. Roughly in 5 billion years from now.
5 billion years?
Yes, so there's a lot of time for all of us to carry on living happy.
So why were the Mayans so convinced it would end in 2012?
So there is a myth which is related to one calendar that the Mayans had, which ends this year, but it doesn't really end. If you think of a calendar which has a last page, we are on the last page of that calendar, and when they made the calendar there was no need to think further into the future, so they didn't produce the next calendar. When I bought a mobile phone a couple of years ago, I was just out of fun trying how far in the future can I set the date, and ended at 2038. So my phone would have told me in 2038 the world ends, but it was simply the people who made that phone thought, well, that phone will probably not be around in 2038, so it's pointless we build in a calendar which goes beyond that. Now, the Mayans planned a long time ahead, but they didn't see the point to make a calendar which will be valid until the end of the world, the real end. The world will definitely end someday, but in a long time from now. So we don't have to worry.
A terrible mystery gripping the world right now. Birds, fish, and all kinds of creatures just dropping dead.
Mayan has made prediction that came true. Mayans kind of predicted the Japanese earthquake, a massive tsunami, on the exact same date it happened, on March 11, 2011. The other prediction made by Mayan that came true was the 9/11 attack, quoting, "Great steel birds will fall from the sky and end the great city to the north."
Well, we've now got Father Peter from St Mary's Cathedral on the line. Hello, Father Peter.
Hello, but I'm not from St Mary's Cathedral.
Oh, you're not sorry about that. Which one is it?
I'm from the Church of England Cathedral.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I was just going to say, what is your opinion on about the Mayan calendar predictions?
Well, I think that my general opinion is that they're not actually predictions. They're our interpretations of a highly complex calendrical system that is only partially understood, and I'm afraid I don't take them as predictions.
So do you have an alternative to belief to this, or do you think it is going to happen or not at all?
I don't think that the fact that the Mayan the Mayan the very long cycle of the Mayan calendar comes to an end. I mean, it would just start again, as the 13-day and 20-day cycles in the Mayan calendar will just start again. I don't think the fact that when your car mileage meter turns over from 9999999 to 1, it doesn't mark an enormous event for your car, in the same way when the calendar changes back to 0, it doesn't mark an event other than something entirely arbitrary. So I don't think that the fact that the calendar is coming to an end indicates the end of the world.
So when you hear that the belief you just heard there, does it upset you, does it anger you, or does it just make you laugh?
I think it's a bit silly.
Yes.
I mean, why would it, people have a wide variety of beliefs. I wonder, do people really believe it's going to come to an end? Or does the idea of it of time coming to an end intrigue people?
Yeah.
Which is quite a different thing and is much more interesting.
Well, our other guests before just said they thought it was an excuse to have a party at the end, didn't they?
Absolutely. Well, there have always been these doomsayers about. Always coming up with a new prediction for the end of the world. I remember there's been about 5 ends of the world in my lifetime, and I'm only 21. So, to actually believe that it could be I think it's just hysteria. I think. Yes, and
I think the actual number of people who believe it is. People. No, it seems odd for a priest to say this. People do believe some rather strange things, but they really believing it and thinking, okay, so I'm going to spend a day renting expensive cars and putting things on my credit card because I really believe I'm not going to have to pay it back. That would actually be rather a deceitful thing to do, but I don't see people.
There'll be someone.
It.
There will be somebody that'll do it.
And if people were doing that, I think one's approach to them would be perhaps not to laugh at them, but to have compassion for them. I think there are probably other issues they need to speak.
Father Peter, may I just ask quickly, if it really was the last day on Earth, how would you spend it? Just briefly.
I would spend it with my friends and people I love.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Now, on the tweets, we've got a few coming in. A lot saying it's just a big excuse for a party. So, hey ho, let's just go out, all have a great time, and have a party.
Sounds good to me.
Let's all do it. Right, the time is 3:20. I tell you what, that lamp is in the worst position in this chat. This is 3:28, and you're listening to S1Live.
Hi, I'm Will. Follow us on Twitter at S1Live.
Right, well, next week is our Christmas special. We'll be talking about what Christmas means to you and New Year's resolutions. Join us at the same time next week. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right through your veins. I'm the black night from one too many drinks.